Star Wars fans. Hey, do you know there are just 96 days until Christmas 2022? Almost said 21. 2022. 96 days. We're down into the double digits now. Just next week, we'll be in that 3-month range. We're almost there. It's a super exciting time of year for me. You can see I changed some of the setup here. I said a little further back. I was talking to Jason beforehand. And by the way, I need to bring this up. Today's stream brought to you by Mio Energy and my good friend Quentin Time Podcast, who sent me a box of Mio in the mail. Hey Jason, how you doing today?
What's going on, Andorks? How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, Jason. Thanks.
Can we have Halloween? Can we have Thanksgiving? Not with you.
Not me.
Not with Santa. No. We're like, he's like, it's September. it's Christmas season.
Name a month. It's always Christmas. It's good. Hey, so we're going to talk about a lot of Andor stuff today. In the news coming out today has specifically been about this Tony Gilroy story. You shared it with us this morning, and let me just bring it up. Just if people haven't seen it, we can share. Let folks know what's going on.
I messaged the source about this, and I'll tell you what they said after you get into it.
Perfect. So here's it's from FandomWire, and it says he signs a first look deal with Lucasfilm. This is an exclusive story for them, saying that the upcoming series has Lucasfilm high on the guy, and they've signed him to this first look deal. So that's the gist of it, without jumping into the full details. What have you heard?
So I messaged a couple. I sent out a couple of texts. I got one back, and so far they kind of like laughed and said like they don't entirely know 100%. So they're like, don't go write an article and quote me on that. Might kind of talk about it. They're like, I don't care. But basically, Gilroy has first right of refusal on Andor characters, on Rogue One characters. And it's been that way since they made that deal back in the day. That's why he was the one who was sending memos on the television show, and why he was passing on it originally and stuff like that. And like the wording in the article, once again, I'm not trying to like, if they actually have something new and it's they can say this just happened, then I'm cool. You know what I mean? I'm not going to fight FandomWire on or whatever, but it sounds to me like it's just the initial first right of refusal. Maybe somebody got wind of that even existing and then turned that into like this perspective that this just happened. Because also, like, when you look at the writing on the wording of the article itself, it's like first right, like basically he has first right of refusal, but of what? Of all Star Wars? If they want to make Jar Jar's great adventure, Gilroy gets to go. Maybe that doesn't really track with how this works. So well, I'm fairly certain it's just the first right of refusal part of his deal that has been referenced in some way and then has been taken to mean this just happened. And it's that's my reading of the situation right now.
Well, the other take on this is like he gets to write something to be made into the next movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like right of refusal is not the same thing.
Yeah.
And first look isn't necessarily first thing. Now, when I hear first look rights, it reminds me of the deal J.J. Abrams got with, what was that? With it, when Universal, it was with DC, right?
Right. Right.
And he got paid, and he did nothing. Nothing. He did some work.
JJ, dollar bills. Yeah.
Some of it's going to make its way to screen, which is
mystery box. Fun. Mystery putting the money in the mystery box.
But with all that, this isn't the same deal. This is
No.
not what is happening here.
Yeah.
And so, because of what happened with Ryan Johnson coming out of The Last Jedi, and there was you would have been able to see that lid on there even if it was a little more bright.
I would have done that with perfect 2020 vision outside in the sun. Yeah.
I did it. Like I did the same thing last week.
I'm just an Andork. I can't help myself. Like, I ain't as bad as those Dumbledorks, though. That's what I always say. But yeah,
people are like, oh, they like it. That means they signed him to a deal to do a trilogy. That's what they did with Ryan. So that's what they're doing here with Gilroy.
Yeah.
Again, that's not the story.
Right. No, it's not. Like what they actually say, and like I said, what they say in the article. I wish I had time to like send a DM to that person, which is what I should have done at FandomWire, and be like, hey, can you confirm this? But I didn't. So I don't mean to pick on them if they like literally have like, we know about this meeting, and if there's like way more to it. But I will also throw out there, and I don't know a lot about FandomWire, but for the record, so I'm in no way an expert on them or anything like that. I know their site. I've read the site before and stuff, but I don't know a lot about them. I don't know anybody there personally, I don't think. And we usually don't hear the ins and outs of the contracts. And in fact, a lot of the times, though, like today when I was talking to sources at Lucasfilm, they don't really even know like exactly how a lot of the stuff works. But stuff like first right of refusal is something that they do know, because they do have to know that. Like that's when there's little intricacies, they won't know. But that's kind of the big one. So it does make sense to me that one would be out there, that someone would have referenced it, and then it would have turned into sort of this version of a leak. I don't think it's really a leak, though. Is where I'm at with it, and it's gonna get crazy though. It's gonna run like I heard that it right now, like this very day, the Pinewood sets are gonna start getting constructed. Like preliminary, like really like the earliest work for the Pinewood stuff, and there's gonna be some Elstree stuff as well. And but Pinewood stuff is going down today, and they're gonna take like a full year to film this next season of Andor-Eve. So how does this timeline even compute to being the next Star Wars movie, which is what we're going to start seeing the fan math fake articles come out? Oh, Gilroy got to the next one because I like that show. It was a grown-up Star Wars show. Like, I mean, I'm a grown-up. And then I saw that. So therefore I did the math. And so wait for those articles, and they're all going to be bunk. And when they are, pay attention to who's doing that. That's what I say.
Jason, that is fantastic. That's absolutely on the nose, because there's a pattern we see among many of the same sources, the same kind of sites, the same sort of talking people on YouTube, making up stories based off of a bad take off of a headline. So all it takes is for this story from FandomWire to get retold by some we make up crap site with a new header on it that says, Gilroy gets exclusive.
We got this crap
movie.
covered.com exclusive movie.
Yeah, exclusive. All Star Wars movies from here out are Tony Gilroy.
Yeah.
Right, like something like that, right? It'll be completely stupid. But
and then
based off of that,
but you're not going far enough. Next week, now Tony Gilroy has taken Kathleen Kennedy's job, and Dave Filoni's lost his office because Gilroy's taking it, and Filoni's like,
that's again. I've already heard a version of that.
Are you serious? Have you really?
Today. Not that deep, right? Not that deep. Okay. But if you went and listened to it in context of that, you'd say, yeah, that's what that person's doing.
You predictable suckers. You're all so predictable. And the people who push that stuff have no right to ever criticize the creatives on Star Wars, because you could literally make up anything in the whole world, and that's what you made up.
So the grift on that today was Gilroy gets exclusive first look. Oh,
Yeah.
what about John and Dave? Don't they get to do any movies?
Oh,
How
man.
come? Who's ignoring John and Dave? Why aren't John and Dave getting first look?
Yeah.
Do you even read? Like,
Well-
do you? What are you doing? Like, I don't understand it.
It's really like they just see everything so it's everything is like in mono or binary. Like it's always an either or. It's never like Tony Gilroy is not the right guy to make the Mandalorian. It would be, and once again, I'm going to say, like, I like Gilroy, so I would be fascinated by his take on the Mandalorian. But if he did the Mandalorian, it would not be what it is in terms of like the cultural significance, you know?
Yeah.
And like,
so this was
yeah.
Jedi Mike knows what I'm talking about because he's putting it here, right? This Kathleen's ignoring John and Dave. She's scared of the floatyverse. She's bringing in Gilroy because he'll execute her vision, and the war, the Civil War at Lucasfilm is on. Like,
Dave, it's Favreau. I need you to get Matt Smith to be Thrawn's stat. Matt Smith, yeah, get him now. If you don't, we're gonna be on the streets. That's what's happening right now at Lucasfilm.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And I'm just so done with it. And it's like, you guys stop, right? How about you just read? That would be a good start, right? Like, read the story, read the source. Quit just reading headlines. And by God, stay off of the freaking Reddit. Reddit is garbage. Like, if you are getting your facts from Reddit,
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah. Well, it's also like a big there's a big thing with like in terms of like our fandom's media literacy, if you will. And like we've all been guilty of it. Every single one of us, me, you, everyone in the chat, all of us. The thing is that it like the Rolling Stone article came out and it has a bunch of really good little tidbits from Gilroy in it. And I've now seen 4 or 5 articles spawned from it. And then those articles are being shared. Don't bother sharing the article that is just cannibalizing it with their analysis, because any analysis that they add is just simply their analysis. Go to the source of the initial article, because they're not really adding anything to it. They're framing the quotes. They didn't conduct the interview. If the interviewer clearly asked follow-up questions, saw what was sexy and what wasn't in what he said, and if there was more to it, Rolling Stone would have made that its own piece, would have picked up on it. And that's like how this game works to some extent. If everybody knew that, they probably wouldn't be listening to us ever again. So don't get too smart, but get a little bit smarter, like on that front.
Yeah.
Like that's important.
Daryl asked, how am I doing? I didn't give an update this morning on my dad.
Oh, yeah.
Dad came home last week. Super exciting. Maybe just a hair earlier than he should have. We had a little incident the first night, and he ended up on the floor and had to have some folks come out to help get him off the floor and all of that. But it's getting better day by day. He's getting stronger day by day, and being home has put him in a better mental health over everything that's going on. He still he can't walk more than a few feet at a time. He's using a wheelchair primarily, and his left shoulder is still a mess. So we've got an appointment tomorrow. His birthday is tomorrow, and we're extremely blessed to be able to have him with us for his birthday. But he's got the appointment tomorrow. We'll get an update on things there. But thank you so much for asking, Daryl. We're doing much better. Dad started to take over some of his bookkeeping, some of the stuff he was doing before. He's taken some of the load off of me, and my job, my day job, the work that I do is picked up. I'm doing a lot of things there. All of that's good as well. So
Nice.
Thank you so much for asking on that. And
Your dad's a
so
badass, by the way, man. Because
there's
I'm
no
not.
question.
Yeah, I mean, like what like that dude's gone through, and he's just like, well, I'm back bookkeeping, it's like what? And I mean, I sleep wrong, and I get like a pinched nerve in my shoulder, and like you would think I went to like Vietnam or something in the 70s. I'm like, this sucks, but I can
Like,
only imagine like that actually being like that's the worst place. Like your shoulder pain is the worst,
yeah.
and
Look,
like at the level that he has it, that dude, poor guy. But
oh,
tell him,
it's
we're all
amazing.
rooting for him.
He has been blown away by you guys, by everybody, and he realizes, and I've given him updates. This tiny little Star Wars channel on a tiny little portion of the internet has made such a huge difference in his life. You guys, like I can't express how much that has made a difference. Because we could not have done some of the remodeling of his house and the repairs that needed done without those funds. There's just not enough to do that. We're still going through legal stuff and all the hospital bills. Some of those are starting to come in. We've got lawyers kind of intercepting that, and they're working on all of that. But that's a side. That's a side. But just the work on the house. My family, we between me, my brother, and our families, we've absorbed over $1,000 of his expenses out of our own budgets.
Yeah.
But the money that's been donated has made all of that possible. It's amazing, and Dad is blown away. He's like, I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. Like, why would people on the internet who follow a Star Wars YouTube channel donate money to help me? I don't get it.
Because we love Brian. So we love you, man.
It is a big part of it, and we recognize that. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So thank you all for that. And aggressively relaxing. I'm seeing your comments. Absolutely hilarious. Yes, this. Yes.
Yeah.
But hey, we're here to talk about predictions. Andor releases tonight. Super exciting. I don't typically cover the release at like 3 a.m. Eastern, but just for your time zone. At 3 a.m., Santa's asleep.
Wait, can't you just use Santa magic?
Well, Lucasfilm, contrary to all opinions of my shill work that I do for them, Lucasfilm has still not seen it in their vision to give Santa early release so that I would have already seen it and could get my necessary sleep to prepare.
Has Mrs. Santa?
No. I haven't seen that.
That's for you, Meg. I love you. Can I speculate irresponsibly for 1 second?
Go ahead.
The embargo lifts at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Do you think we might get it at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tonight? Like, I know we had Kenobi and Celebration kind of do that. But they are doing events like in the UK where people will be in the theater at that time and right after. So I'm curious if we might get it earlier tonight than the standard midnight release.
I don't know how irresponsible that speculation is, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be entirely responsible.
Yeah. It's speculation.
It might be a good heads up for folks. Like,
be ready. If you're going to stay up tonight, be ready. Looking.
It was mentioned earlier in the chat that spoiler embargo lifts today. I think Matt Risman said it. Beware. Right, and you said it releases when? When does embargo lift?
I heard it was tonight at like 11. Sorry, Eastern. So it would be so it'd be like 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for me.
Okay. Yeah. So I would watch out. Say 4 hours early. Right, just doing the math. Right. 11 p.m. Eastern versus 3 a.m. Eastern, I would maybe get your antenna up, right? So around 11 p.m. Eastern tonight, again, adjust for your time zone. 4 hours earlier than a normal release, it could go live.
Okay.
I do have to adjust my normal. Normally, I would do a watch party like 7:30 or 8 a.m. Eastern, but tomorrow I still have to work with Dad's business, and I can't do that live stream at 8. So I will be on like 6 a.m. Eastern,
Okay.
which is really stupid early for Santa. So I've got to get up at like 5 and get
Yeah.
everything set up. So yeah, that's where we are. So look for that. I think that's great advice. Not that look, we're not saying it's going to release 4 hours early.
And don't get mad if it doesn't. You can't get mad.
Right.
You have to tell yourself, I'm a big girl, I'm a big boy. I'm not gonna get mad. I'm just hoping, and I'm gonna keep looking. Just in case.
Exactly. Just in case, because when that releases, that will be a big deal. And thank you, Quentin. Your channel and what you do is not tiny. Look, Quentin, I appreciate it. Tremendous supporter. Quentin's been absolutely wonderful, and
When's the best?
I appreciate it. Look, I think what we do here is significant, but in the terms of the YouTube space, I'm not a pinpoint on the radar. I'm not. I'm just in our space. It's a good thing, though. And
I'll be honest. Nothing matters. No, even the big ones, they don't matter. Even the biggest ones on YouTube, they're idiots anyways. So it doesn't even matter. So
really,
you're just a star a little further away, Santa. That's all.
You put me.
The stars look small, far away.
I listened to your live stream the other day.
They're all big.
And it reminds me of a line from a Queen song. Nothing
We're the
really
champions?
matters.
Oh, nothing really matters to me.
Nothing really matters. So anyhow, and I saw Anthony bringing up, does it give vibes of Andor? Does it give vibes of Jason Bourne, of those spy thrillers that come from Gilroy? Or is this a different flavor? What do you think?
It definitely sounds like it. I mean, it doesn't, but I still haven't seen the Bourne films. I'm not really like an action movie guy. And so like Mission Impossible and all that stuff, I haven't seen any of it. It drives Rob crazy on my show. He's like, come on, dude, what are you doing? Like, are you an American?
Right. Jason?
Yeah.
It's like you're as bad as Meg. You know,
well, it's like I was like a little
Meg
boy.
doesn't watch anything either. So I was like, Meg, wait, you haven't watched like Lord of the Rings? What's wrong with you? There's something.
Yeah.
There's something like.
Well, no, it's like, I mean, yeah, it's like I'm in no way like a movie snob or anything like that. I just, like when I was like a little boy, I had like Arnold and like Van Damme, and action movies were just like ridiculous. And then you had like that changeover that happened that was real dry and boring. And then it sounds like action movies got better, but I didn't get back on the action movie train, like in that and all of that, like in that transition in Hollywood from A, B to C or whatever we're at. And then I just tend to watch like, I don't know, more boring adult things like a dummy. So that's why I think maybe I'm gonna like this show though, because it sounds like they keep going, this is for adults. And
well,
I'm
that
like,
or the Greasy Strangler. I mean, that's what I heard.
It's a spectrum. It's a spectrum of weirdness. Yeah.
Does Jason read the chat?
Yeah. Hello, me. I was going to answer that. And I was like, I do read the chat. It's the Santa show, though, so I let him acknowledge it. I don't want to, like, just be, like, taking charge.
Unless it's Meg really embarrassing me, then Jason will read it.
Yeah, that's a sacred pact between me and Meg that, like,
It's true.
It's true. It can't be explained. It's just intuitive.
Yeah. And RF Gaming Channel, Kenobi did release a little bit early, and Josh was pissed. That is true. So if somebody knows Josh, again, and has access to him, look, I know him. I've chatted with him. I've DM'd him. I've talked to him on the phone. but he and I aren't all that close. So uh, often when I message him, he doesn't see it. So if somebody here has access to Josh in a way that he'll see it, you may want to give him that little jingle that says,
Don't bother.
Hey,
Don't
compete
bother.
4 hours early. I'm trying to be nice. Trying to be nice.
Yeah, I don't. I just don't understand it. I just don't get it. It's like, who gives a shit about Josh? I mean, he's just like his takes. If you like his takes, it's like cool. But I just don't think that people who like his takes really like my takes. I think that they want wrestling, and I'm not interested in wrestling. So
yeah, about all of that, be it Josh or our friends over at Echo Base Network or X-Wing.
I love X-Wing though.
I do too.
I'm wrestling.
And I love the
wrestle him down like Mando. You think you're the Mando? You're not the Mando. You're just the X-Wing. You know,
Coach. Coach is
hold him down, Coach.
Of the earth. He's a great guy. I absolutely love those guys.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just not healthy for me to spend time with some people that don't that are in a different relationship with Star Wars than I am. Mm-hmm. Right. I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying it. Our good friend Matt Risman and Star Wars Obsession. We've got a ton of folks. Sheev, Meg, you. Like, we're in a good place with Star Wars overall. We have our criticisms, but we're in a good place. And sometimes it's better for me to spend time with them instead of folks who are not in a good place. Now, I do listen sometimes just to kind of get an idea where they are and what those are, just so that I'm not living completely in a silo. But
I do that with politics. I drive myself crazy, but I do that with politics too. It's like you kind of want to know what the discourses like that are around are. I understand that.
Yeah, I do the same. I was deep into the Republican Party, the GOP, and Rush Limbaugh, and all of that for a very long time. Very deep. Completely circled around that, right? And Glenn Beck, those are my guys. Like that was what I was doing, but it kind of put me in a silo, and it wasn't necessarily a healthy place to be. So, still largely agree with most of what they do, but it's just don't spend time with them anymore. I'm past it. I'm beyond it.
Yeah.
But and that's why this is one of the things that's really cool about Jason and I. We're really good friends, even though he thinks I'm an idiot for listening to those guys.
I don't think you're an idiot.
No,
I do think you might want to cry like if you cry like Glenn Beck on camera a lot, we might get some more viewers on this. We want to see the crying. We want to see the crying Santa Claus who loves Star Wars too much. I'm just saying. I think that's our meal ticket, dude. Like, people are like, oh, we got a $10 super chat. Every time. Look, it'd be great.
It doesn't happen every time. It's happened a couple of times.
No. I mean, with no sincerity behind it, though. Just pure insanity for Star Wars.
I know what you mean.
The fervor.
I know. Yeah. I think that Andor spy thriller action movie. I think it's going to have some action movie vibes in it, but it is described as a spy thriller. Jason Bourne is a spy thriller. So might it be that? Yeah, it might be. We shall find out.
Yeah.
Very soon.
That's one of the things like with Star Wars fans when I see like innocent speculating, like our good friend Arya was talking about that certain cameo thing in the background of one of the shots. Are we going to talk about that today, or should I hit that now?
Yeah.
There's like a photo, and you can see a Keldor's mask in Luthen's collection of antiquities, and it appears to be probably Plo Koon's, would be our assumption, because that's our point of reference for that metal mask. Yeah. And it's like my friend Arya was like, I hope they mention him, and I'm like, I don't think they are. I think that would break the conventions of the genre, because it's just not that show. it's not gonna do that. It's gonna stay within its purview. It's gonna have its focus, and it's not gonna have Boba Fett walking on screen, because it would be Luke Skywalker's not going to show up digitally, because the spectacle, it's just not that. The spectacle in this is completely different. The spectacle is in the intrigue, is in the depth of the character situations as they continue to spiral down the hole of rebellion, as opposed to being like the J.J. Abrams, how do I delight you? I want to delight you. Gilroy does not care about delighting you, and he's not going to.
No, he really doesn't, which is a fantastic introduction, Jason. Well, lack of sleep and allergies, wearing the shades, puts you, in a whole different level. You're like, really just, you're on it today. Absolutely on it.
Guys, this is the real me.
The real Jason. It harkens back to the days of you out in the backyard with the,
yeah. Maybe I'll do that tonight. We'll throw back to the old days.
You totally should, with the shades outside. That's classic Jason right there. Andor predictions. Look, make sure, and in the description to this video, we have 3 links. There are 3 episodes dropping tonight. There are 3 links. Make sure you get your predictions in for all 3. I see the numbers varying between the responses on these. So I know people are doing one, but not the others. And what's weird is I think 2 has more responses than 1 or 3. And it's like,
weird.
Make sure
you don't. I did yell at you. I did yell at you in a Taco Bell last night. I stopped by Taco Bell, and I'm like, I got some Taco Bell dinner, drinking my Baja Blast, and I go, I fill it out. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is only the first one. This should have just been in all one document, Star Wars Santa. That's what I said.
No, well, I was conflicted. Do I make this episodes 1 through 3, or do I do 1 and 2 and 3? So
I did all 3 though. I ain't a dummy. I'm not dumb like you guys in the chat who were dumb and didn't do all 3, but did the second one. Who does? No. I didn't watch A New Hope, but I just saw Empire because it's the best one, and that's all I did. That's dumb.
You're one off. You're one off. It's not Andor Day today. It's Andor-Eve.
Andor-Eve.
It's like saying Merry Christmas to somebody on Christmas Eve. It's Merry Christmas Eve. No,
Santa, do you ever feel not so fresh? Andor-Eve.
So let's go through episode 1 together, and we can talk about the questions, and then you guys can Nerd Mafia. How many days till Christmas? 96 there, my friend.
96 days till Christmas. That makes you guys happy. I got kids now, and I'm just like, oh, come on. Are you serious? I got money for this, man. Super chat, exactly. Please.
And there's a big Hasbro Star Wars panel on October 1st for the they have a fan event every year. They've started doing October 1st. There's going to be a lot of Star Wars news. I have a little bit of an inkling. Santa has a little bit of a clue what we might hear on October 1st. And I think it'll make a lot of vintage collection collectors
Carrie
very
Fisher
happy.
Blow up doll?
Okay. But vintage collection TVC collection collectors should be very happy if what I'm starting to hear has any veracity to it. We shall see.
All right.
All right, so let's go through these questions, talk about them just a little bit, because I've already gotten some feedback. Like, I'm not sure what you mean here. So let's talk about
It's your name, dummies. He's asking your name. You just put your name. God, you guys are so stupid.
Not that hard.
No. Obviously, he was question 1. I'm stupid. Sorry.
And it's look, I've had some confusion on this as well. It's not that hard. Don't overthink it. Just don't overthink it. So the first question, I revised it because I was getting question. I put in all of these questions a description because my good friend Skywalker's Academy asked some great questions, and I wanted to yeah.
I almost got in there, Skywalker Academy, but they said I was too fat.
Rick Jones, if I'm right, we're not going to get a Black Series HasLab. Let me just put it that way. So I put on here, a stormtrooper gets killed with a blaster shot. I said earlier that it was, someone gets killed with a blaster shot. I specified a stormtrooper gets killed with a blaster shot, and I clarified on here, a stormtrooper is not a clone trooper, a shore trooper, a death trooper, any of the variants. Doesn't count if a TIE fighter pilot gets killed with a blaster shot from an X-Wing. No, stormtrooper, white armor. When you think stormtrooper, right?
Well, if mine's wrong, I meant whatever the opposite is because you changed it. That's what you do in school. If you're in the guys are still in college, that's how you get free credit. Do that.
Yes. Yes.
Whenever my students would do that to me, I'd be like, okay. Every time.
One of the classes I took was Greek history or mythology, Greek mythology.
Mm-hmm.
And the professor was a 70s hippie throwback guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was still suffering the effects of Woodstock.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite evident.
Okay.
And his vibe was, if you don't like the question on the quiz, just scratch it out and write your own question. Answer your question. I'll grade it on what you said. Because, dude, I mean, who am I to put my oppression upon you? So you write your own questions and you answer them. I'll give you questions to answer.
It still has to be. I would imagine it still has to be good, though.
No, it just had to be about what we were studying, like Greek mythology.
But
right?
you're like, where does Greek mythology come from? Greek mythology comes from Greece. Yeah, I don't think he would give you full credit on that.
No, you wouldn't get full. You'd get half.
Did you answer his questions or did you make your own?
Most of the time I answered his, but every now and then I'd be like, I totally have no clue. I just scratch it out and then write, an easy gimme in there.
Yeah.
And answer my own question. He'd give you at least half credit, at least.
Okay.
Like if you got it right. Like,
yeah.
You can't presume that somebody's going to write their own question and give the right answer to their own question.
Yeah. See, you're lucky, man. I come out of American Studies. I was in a course about American mythology, and we had to read I'm not even kidding, 20 Louis L'Amour novels. They're all the same thing. We just everybody had to buy one or two, and we had to keep exchanging them because they're all formulaic. They're all the same structure. Yeah. We broke all the stuff down. This guy gets into an argument with me about how Star Wars isn't a Western. And I'm like, it's an amalgamation of genre. The Western's there, but yeah, you're going to be right. And then this guy says, you should talk about this in your paper. I do. And he gives me an A- over B+. And I'm like, what does this mean? And he's like, at the end of the class, we'll decide what it means. I was like, you son of a bitch. I got an A- in that class. I'm a good student. That made me mad. I'm still mad.
Still mad.
Yeah. Want to talk about Star Wars with me, man? I'm the professor here, bud. That's what he needs to know.
That one time I got my own question wrong. Boy, I had one just toast my. Yeah, no, I didn't get one wrong. I didn't get mine wrong. So funny.
One time when I was grading, I had a student draw an R2D2 on there, and I was like, +1. +1. They knew what they were doing. I gave it to
them. Question 2: a droid is referred to by name. So I gave an example. It doesn't have to be the full blown, R2D2. I gave an easy example, right? R2D2.
When they go to the brothel, are they going to be like Twi'leks and like Bixes? Because I'd go there. Or is it going to be like sex bots? And is Andor going to be like, 3PO, I love you, 3PO. And she's like, you were saying that to all the bots? because that's how it opens. We heard
3P ho. That's
3P
funny.
ho. Gilroy, we can work together. We can collab, bud, on YouTube or in Star Wars, whatever, dude. I'm around.
Oh my goodness. But
Yeah.
so yeah, this is Peter. This is just episode 1. There are 3 separate ones for each episode. There's a episode
It's a trilogy.
1, and episode 2, episode 3, and you can find links to all 3 of those in the description of this video. Referred by name. So it could be R2D2, hey R2, or like Ahsoka, R2E, right? That all works. But,
Little Arturito.
Hey there, little bud. That doesn't count, right? Or hey, you overgrown trash can. That doesn't work.
Oh, that doesn't work?
Right? No.
That's a name.
Calling
somebody a name.
Well, yeah, not the same.
Okay. All right. Hey, your contest, your rules.
That's right. So I clarified. So a droid's referred to by name. Now we do know there is a new droid in this series, B2 Emo, right?
Mm-hmm. He's sad.
So I think because they're introducing a new K2SO as well. I think because we have a new droid being introduced, there's more likely we'll actually hear its name. What they may call it emo, or they may call it B2, whatever the case is, right? So I think that might happen. 3, hyperspace tunnel is seen from inside a ship. So inside the ship, inside the tunnel. Remove some ambiguity we had from Kenobi. Inside the ship, inside the tunnel. That will we see hyperspace in episode 1? This is specifically for episode 1. I'm gonna say no. We have an intro episode. All reports say episodes 1 and 2 are a little slower. It picks up in 3, sets you up for 4 with a bit of a cliffhanger. So I'm going to say slow down, hold the jets on episode 1. I did answer yes to the stormtrooper getting killed because that could happen. I don't know, but I'm going to say that could happen. So there we go. Question 4. A space battle happens between different ships. Originally, this said a fight happens in space. Well, what happens if Joe and Bill are walking inside a ship that is in space, and Joe punches Bill in the nose? That's a fight, and they're in space. Does that count? I was like, oh, I see where people are. I know what they're doing. I clarified it. A battle between ships, right?
But I'm going to throw it out there. If we did get that scenario, the other scenario would likely be intertwined. So I think it was fine anyway. You know what I mean? Chances are.
Yeah. If a destroyer comes by and blows up a planet, no, it still doesn't count. Okay. Yeah, that's not a battle, a space battle happening, right? So question 4, I'm going to say no in episode 1. By episode 3, I'll probably have a yes in there, but I'm going to say that. Question 5, we see a named character cameo from another series, movie, novel, or comic. Now, this one, what about Mon Mothma? Mon Mothma comes from the original trilogy, the prequels. Does Mon Mothma count? Is she a cameo every episode she's in?
No, she's a principal player. She's not a cameo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you guys,
but the Plo Koon mask, that doesn't count. That's not Plo Koon. That's not
a character, right?
That's just his mask, right?
Perfect
so
example.
let's clarify that probably too.
That's right. This isn't about an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Right? That Plo Koon mask, if it is Plo Koon's, not somebody else from his species, if it is truly his, if that's the case, that would be an Easter egg.
So what Santa's going with for here is like in Rogue One when Ponda Baba and Dr. Evazan do that moment. That's like what we're talking here, right?
Perfect. Yes. And if as some speculation has happened, if you get somebody like Dr. Aphra show up, that's cameo, right?
Yeah.
Darth Vader shows up. Unless he's walking in a group of folks in the background and just walks across the scene, I'm gonna say,
Okay. If there's a like an actual line, does that? Well, I guess does Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba have a line in Rogue One? Do they do the whole "I don't like you" thing? I'm
yes,
trying to. They do. So that's a cameo with a line. So a line still can denote a cameo. Okay, just wanted
absolutely.
to trying to figure out where the line is between somebody having a line and it not being a cameo.
It's a small but noticeable part.
Yeah.
So a non-main character makes a limited appearance. So not in repeated episodes, not a principal. So examples: Cassie and Mon Mothma, Saul Guerrera. Those aren't cameos.
Right.
Those are not cameos. They have to be. Those are all primary characters.
Yeah,
But
if they're on the junket, they're not a cameo. Like, there we go.
Right. So there you go. So I'm gonna say in episode 1, do we get a named character cameo from another series? No. No. I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I said no as well.
Partisans are in the episode. Somebody said, well, what if they're not a partisan now, but they get flipped to be a partisan later? And they're in episode 1 as a nonpartisan, but then by season 3, episode 12, they're a partisan. Like, no. They need to be a partisan.
Well, we'd have to go back in time and regrade your quiz. Like, that's
we're not doing that.
That can't happen. So
right.
It has
and
to
even
do with...
if we know in canon that they become a partisan later, and they show up here and they're not, then they're not.
Oh, wow. So if Two Tubes shows up and he's like, "Oh, hello, I am Two Tubes. I am simply an elementary school teacher. I don't know what's going on with this empire." And then, so that's not a partisan, not a partisan yet. He's just an elementary school Two Tubes teacher. And then later on, okay, your contest, your rules.
Right. Oh, yes. The answer to that is yes. Partisans. Yeah.
You think they will show up in the first?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. Sabotage is conducted.
Listen now, y'all, we sabotage. Beastie Boys. That you're talking about the song, right? You're talking about the song? Is it? I need clarification. Is this the Beastie Boys song, or do you mean actual sabotage?
Look, if the actual Beastie Boys song plays, I'll give you credit for that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll specifically Jason Ward. I'll go find yours and I'll add 1 point. You could get 21.
Eloasti cameo is going to count then. Just for that'd be a twofer if Eloasti shows up. Just let people know.
Right. Mm-hmm. Sabotage is conducted. I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
Could lead to the stormtroopers getting shot earlier. Like something's going to happen. We understand that there's some tension going on in the universe, and that all things are not hunky dory.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that someone steals something valuable. I had to be clear, clarify here as well. Like, what if the Empire steals a planet? Their home world is stolen from them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's kind of not what I was thinking about.
What if Mon Mothma stole my heart?
Right.
I mean, that's pretty valuable to me.
That is absolutely valuable.
She's pretty fly and low on supply. I didn't see that coming. That still plays with me because Mon Mothma was this asexual being, and now I'm like, you're a woman.
Oh, yeah. They have definitely increased the hot factor on
Disney made Boston Lady hot. Never saw that coming. Just did not see that coming.
Yeah. So I would say, like an item, like a data chip, jewelry, etc. Like somebody steals an item, something valuable. I'm gonna say yes.
So like data chip, valuable, but like bag of chips, not.
A street rat. You steal a
Melaroon. Did you eat a Melaroon from the streets, Cassie and Andor? If that happens, is that valuable?
Well, I mean, if you're hungry and you steal a Melaroon and you're able to eat it, then it's valuable. Sure.
Okay. His contest, his rules.
There you go. There you go. Question 9. We visited a new planet for the first time in live action. So that's if for some chance they throw in there, you know,
It's all new planets. So I think that, right? I mean, as far as we know, like they've like released stuff on that stuff. And so I think that one you should all put
some of it
price
looks,
yeah.
This one, especially in episode 1. Like we may get the same planets again in episode 2, but episode 1, I think the likelihood of new planet is high.
Mm-hmm.
A species talks to another, it speaks or talks in another language with subtitles to translate.
Man.
So
I went with what I want and not with what I believe. And I mean, this is adult. On the adult Star Wars, you can put the subtitles, but we still saw that big dumb alien go, "Oh, I don't know, Cassian." They did that whole thing. I'm like, why? But I went with yes because I want that. But we do know. Oh, I don't know what everybody knows. Never mind. I would say yes to this, though. I would say yes to this personally. That's my recommendation.
Yes. And then if in the watch party tomorrow it doesn't happen, I'll say, "Curse you, Jason Ward."
Yeah. Well, I mean, we covered the Bespin Bulletin story on the show, didn't we? About Cassian's name. His name is Cassa. Well, I think we're gonna see, and he also has that accent, that wonderful accent, right. And no one else in Star Wars has it except for like one of Padme's handmaidens, maybe,
Well,
and so
I was listening to one of the books, Rebels Rising. I think it was in that, and they actually had some like Mexicans in there.
Oh, okay.
Sounded like Cheech and Chong talking to each other. I was like, really?
Cool, man. That's where I'm from. That sounds.
They went there.
I'm like, Star Wars is feeling like home right now.
So look, if you guys are fans of Cheech and Chong, you might want to listen to Rebels Rising. You get the whole Mexican flavor in there.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. I don't know.
Put Cheech Marin in Star Wars is what I say.
We need it. Troopers, the clone troopers, stormtroopers are in the episode, more than one together. So kind of goes with question 1. A stormtrooper gets killed, but that's just like one, right? So a stormtrooper gets killed. If you see a squad of stormtroopers or clone troopers, right? This is where shore troopers count, death troopers count, right? Troopers, right, are in the episode, more than one together, on patrol.
What if Cassian has to go to the bathroom and he says, "Uh-oh, pooper troopers are here"? Would that count? Okay. Or sorry. Uh-oh, pooper troopers are here.
Daniel Fisher with the dad joke. He's a Simperial.
Yeah.
I like it, Daniel.
I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe.
Jason.
Yeah, that was for that was for him.
Excellent. A light side force user makes an appearance. So,
I say no. I said no.
Yeah, I don't think so. Especially not in episode 1. May it happen in the series? What do you think the possibilities within the whole series are that a light side force user, not necessarily a Jedi?
Well, I shared.
Padawan.
I was talking yesterday on my show, and I love Peter Scretta from Slash Film. I love that guy, and he's a great guy. And when I broke the Darth Vader in Rogue One stuff,
mm-hmm.
He was like, "Dude, they've been adamant that there's no Force users in this." And it's like, and at the time, he had every reason to be like, they said this, like they wouldn't do that. And then when you look back on time, like what's gone on over the years, you're like I mean, Luke Skywalker's in the Boba Fett series. It's like, you're like, come on. But I gotta say, on this one, I'm gonna say no, because, well, for the light side, especially, like Palpatine could show up at any point, like any Darth, I mean, in the Senate or something. But like, they say it's not that show, and this would be the one time that they should stick to it. And they didn't on Rogue One. Rogue One didn't originally do the Darth Vader stuff. That
So
wasn't the
I
original
just
plan.
want to. I think Quentin's onto something here. It looks like in the trailers you do see that same order of monk, like that. Oh, what's his name from Rogue One is in.
The Wills, the Guardians of the
Sharut.
Wills.
Yeah, Sharut is
Baze and
in.
Sharut.
Yeah, the Guardians of the Will. I
Yeah.
think we may see Guardians of the Wills. We may see people of that sect. Now, there's some question: was Sharut a Force user? Did he use the Force? I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me. Would he count as a light side Force user? Might we have other members of that sect who are light side Force users in much the same way because they are believers? It's a really good
I think in Rogue One, I think he does. I think he goes out
Yeah.
there and I mean, he's already fighting blind.
Yes.
I mean, that's not really, you know what I mean, a thing. Like he's clearly like tapped into it. He's not a Jedi.
Yeah.
So if the question was, is
Yeah.
he a does a Jedi show up? That would be incorrect. But is he using the Force? I would say so. And even at the end when he goes down and to hit the console,
Yes.
no one shoots him. His movements are completely like in the flow of things to make it happen for him.
I totally think. I think he is using Force sensitivity to sense like where people were, not just his audio, sensory perception.
Yeah.
He was using Force perception to sense living beings and to pick them out of a crowd and things like that. I think he was. And so might we see other members of that same religious order who are also light side Force users who display some Force sensitivity? I think that there is a likelihood we will see a light side Force user in the series. Perhaps not in the way that most people think of it with a Jedi or Padawan.
Yeah.
I think one of these may actually do that, and that's why the question's there.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's like, one thing, when I saw Rogue One with my son, my 8-year-old, and when they put the sack on Chirrut's head and he's like, I'm blind. Like my kid thought that was the funniest thing ever. And I love that line, but I was like, okay, like that really delivered, like that line, like really, really worked. But
it was.
Yeah, but like somebody was mentioning, like you have like Force crystals and stuff with like Jin's mom and stuff. I love that idea that like that family, they weren't Jedi, but they were like kind of in it at the same time, cosmically in a different way. But I still don't think it would count, right? Like Jin's mom, she doesn't really do anything that ever. She's like in it, but she doesn't really like. She's not like a light side Force user. She just was a part of that. She had faith in them, in that concept, in that idea.
Right, but not a user, and that's
not a user.
Part of the question, right? A believer might be different than a user, but I think Sharut, to my point before, and what we were talking about, he did cross the line to be an actual light side Force user, right?
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't thought of as a Jedi or a Padawan, and as it was pointed out, there are other people, Jedi Mike mentioned it, who have the belief in that same power, but don't call it the Force. They may call it something else. So I think there is possibility, especially with that, and you see them in the. I believe you see some people of that order, right? The Guardians of the Wills in the trailer. So I do think we will see some of them. Will any of them be like Sharut, a Force user, or are they just believers?
Yeah,
we'll have to see. We shall see.
I was driving my car the other day, and somebody was looking at me, and I felt it. And I looked over, and they were like staring at me. I was like, "What are you looking at, weirdo?" And I was like, "Whoa, that was the Force, though. That must be what it's like for them." That's what I thought. Sorry, car thought.
No, that's good. That's good. Question 13: Darth Vader or Palpatine makes an appearance or is referred to by name. Now, I expanded this because there's been some kind of news that we're not going to see them directly. Does somebody refer to Emperor Palpatine?
Well, if they say the Emperor, that counts as Palpatine, right? That would be it. Okay, I said yeah for that reason. I figured like the Emperor has to be something that like comes up.
Yep. I agree. Someone gets arrested by the Empire. I think absolutely. In episode 1, I think that may happen, and he's going to observe somebody getting arrested that he knows. It may be somebody important to him or may not be, but again, it's establishing what the Empire is in this era, and I think the likelihood of somebody getting arrested is quite high.
Yeah, I think that's like going to be like every episode. Somebody's going to be getting arrested, and it's going to be all about that Gestapo kind of atmosphere.
Meg's headed to the Andor London premiere. Wow. I hope you have a great time, Meg. Look forward to seeing your breakdown tomorrow. That's exciting.
They invited me. Can you believe it?
I saw they were having one in Mexico City last night, and they had Diego Luna was at the premiere.
Yeah, that's cool. Exciting.
So
yeah, they invited me. I couldn't go. I was like, I don't live in London, so I handed it over to the Bespin Bulletin boys.
And you could have gone down to Mexico City, though.
I would have went to Mexico.
Yes,
Mexico City's.
I mean,
I would have done it. I would have done it. It'd been good.
So someone wears a disguise, and I'm not talking Jason, because Jason's wearing a disguise right now. There he is. If someone wears a disguise, yeah, I think so.
These are my Princess Leia buns. I'm Princess Leia. I need to get the Princess Leia buns for these. Like this.
A named character is wounded, not killed. The shot in the shoulder, in the.
What if Bix gets a new boyfriend, and that's kind of like, I'm like he feels wounded, like that's my girl.
Or, somebody is flirting with Mon Mothma, but she just turns away.
Meg, Meg, before you go, while you're there, can you let out the most rancid, disgusting fart ever? And then go, ew, Kathleen, you did what? Oh, Kathleen Kennedy, gross. Could you do that for me? That's just for me. Bye, Meg. Have a good time.
Jason. A named character is killed. So here they're wounded, not killed. Here they are killed. A named character is killed. Now, in Rogue One, that happens right at the beginning, right? He's talking to his buddy. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
He's not named though, right? He doesn't have a name in the. He has a name in Star Wars, but he doesn't have a name. Like
I think he calls him by name.
He's like, "Hey, Steve." He does do that. Okay,
he does.
I remember I heard his name like when I was like listening to like the Rogue One novel or something. I was like, oh, so that's his name. I didn't realize that he did.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
I'm not a Rogue One expert though. I've seen the movie 100 times, but I still like there's every time I watch it, I still notice things I didn't notice before. So I could be off.
I'm going to say in episode 1, no. Right? I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Star Wars...
you know what though? But like let's think about it though. Cassian has to become adopted. Cassian has to become an Andor. His father will probably like his dad might have a name, and then he goes over there with Maerva, and then Maerva is like probably going to have some problems. So I'm gonna say I think you should go with personally.
Yeah, and what if they go to a flashback scene? You see Plo Koon get killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that, right? Yeah. In a flashback where Jedi, what's her name that gets killed? Like starts with an S, right? She's been killed like 3 different times.
Shakti?
No, not Shakti. The other one.
Oh.
Shoot. It'll come to me later.
Okay.
Or somebody will put it in chat. Either way. But yeah, that's you could have a flashback scene and see like from Order 66 or the Clone Wars where an actual named character does die. So yeah, I'll say yes. So Star Wars slang is used. Now this is Star Wars specific slang, not somebody using Earth slang.
They say shit in it. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, they said shit in it," and I was like, they said shit in Temple of Doom. I mean, it's not it's not Star Wars, but it's like Do it, Meg.
Daniel Fisher.
Do it, Meg.
Absolutely. So I gave some example, right? Bantha fodder, a clanker, uh, those kind of things. Those are Star Wars slang. To
Oh,
be
Dank
like,
Ferrick! No! No, that don't do that. Why? It's so dumb. Like, what were they like? I think of the meeting where they mentioned that and they like talked about it. I'm like, you guys, no, that's so stupid. That is so dumb. It
I
was like
like it.
annoying. I hate it. I could deal with it on Battlestar Galactica, whether they're saying frack, and I was like,
Yeah,
okay, you can't say that if we're on TV, and you're kind of like, I was able to like let that one pass, but Dank Ferrick, it sounds like Dank Ferret. I think of like a really cool ferret that's like, hey man, what's weed? Like that's what I think. Like it's a ferret with dank weed. It doesn't. I don't know. It's just so dumb. But I wouldn't be surprised if we. I think I said no based off of saying dank ferret and going into a rage. But something like I could see Bix calling him like some kind of moof milker kind of thing. That could definitely.
right,
I don't know if she
right.
will, but I could see it being in a previous Star Wars, like considering their tumultuous relationship.
Yeah. The only thing is that Gilroy is not big Star Wars nerd that's going to throw in dialogue like that
Yeah.
just for fun, right? So would he actually put that dialogue in there, or would somebody say, "Hey, we should put this dialogue in here because it's Star Wars"?
Well, like how it would probably work with Gilroy is he would like, for instance, that table. He's like, well, we got to have some props here. What should And then they would probably like present him a bunch of things, and he probably like that's when he says, yeah, do that one. Do Plo Koon. I don't know who Plo Koon is. I don't believe he knows who Plo Koon is. And then puts it in, and then but like the same thing would go with like a curse where it was like, I need like a bad word like for Star Wars. Like he's gonna say it, and they probably send him over a
Hank
couple of
Ferrick.
them, and then he looks at it and he goes, "Think Ferrick," and then he writes shit. He just writes shit after that in the script. So, but I went with no personally. Where are you falling on this one?
Well, I'm sort of teetering on this on the fence because
Mm-hmm.
in one sense that it's been in a lot of Disney Plus shows where they throw out this kind of jargon, especially in Mandalorian. But I think that's because of John and Dave being super Star Wars nerds. On the other side here, I don't know how much Tony Gilroy cares, or that he would. I don't think he would write it into the script himself, into the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody else would have to add it. So I think the percentage drops significantly. And I'm going to say no for episode 1, and then I may get a feel for the show going
Yeah.
forward if it's if the chances are higher. And I could be completely wrong on this, and and if it happens, I may say "dank ferret" on my
Oh,
live.
hey, and now in that instance, what else could you say?
19. I've got a bad feeling about this. Somebody says it again. This is Star Wars. Like it shows up all over the place, right? Looks like there's a more recent draft. No, shoot, go away. Um. Oh, if it just erased my. It better.
Dank Ferrick.
Let's see. It looks like it kept it. Kept it. I've got a bad feeling about it. Will Gilroy include this kind of, jargon in there? Right.
That's like a George Lucas kind of one. So I went with no on that because I feel like I have a bad feeling about this. Hasn't been in every Star Wars thing. They haven't.
It's been in. I think
a lot
it was
of
in
it,
all
but
6 of Lucas's movies.
yeah, it's a 1138, and I have a bad feeling about this. Our like the George Lucas thing. I feel like we don't get much further away from George Lucas than this show right now. So I said no.
Okay, I'll go with no as well. So the last one, you guess it. This is a prediction. This is a no gimme type, so you can't say like Cassian was in this, anything like that. You've got to give some guess about something that would happen, and it could be a high probability guess. And I'm not saying it has to be something, completely speculative. It could be really good. So this is where you can type in anything. And let me think. I haven't given this much thought.
Yeah.
Are you willing to share what you came up with, or is it your secret?
I don't remember. what I wrote in. I believe like I was serious on the first one, and then I didn't have anything after that, and I just started writing ridiculous stuff. I know on one of them, I was like, that grass Highland planet is just going to be called Highland. Or something stupid. I was just like, what else? You know what I mean? I was like, I bet you they don't even try.
But I'm gonna do. So the one I'm thinking of is we'll see an underwater scene. So I'm thinking, do I want to put my guess is we will see an underwater scene, or we won't see an underwater scene, but we won't see an underwater scene. It almost verges on being one of these examples of a bad guess.
This is like when Cliff from Cheers went on Jeopardy and said, "Who has never been in my bathroom or my kitchen?" Right. And then was like, "Well, that's right."
Right. I'm gonna put. We'll see prisoners. Prisoners in
love.
No, I would like in. Are those like orange jumpsuits that they were wearing?
Oh, the white ones, the white with the barefoot guys, they're like white with like little orange stuff on it. Yeah.
Okay, in the white and orange jumpsuits. How about
that? I struggled with that. I was thinking about that yesterday, and like I knew I have some sources on that stuff, and I was like, I think that goes over that stuff might go over 2 episodes, and I was like, is it the first 2 or the second and the third? I couldn't figure it out.
So there we go. My response has been recorded. Now I still need to do episodes 2 and 3, but look, this is a ton of fun, you guys. If you want to play along, we have a lot of fun going through the answers as part of our watch party. We watch the episodes. And part of the debrief, what we do afterwards, is similar to this, like the speculation ahead of time. We get to do a debrief at the end, like what did happen and what did we think of it. So it's a fun game to play. Last season with Kenobi, I gave away some Star Wars Santa merch to anybody who got more correct answers than me, which ended up being one person, the Duckmeister,
the Momo,
the Momo. Yes.
How about less? How about Ducky less this time? How about we take him down, you guys? How about we all team up?
Ducky needs to be dethroned. So we definitely need somebody to step up in their game and to beat the Duckmeister.
Your goose is cooked, Ducky Momo.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. So Kay's after some of the merch. Fanjecture, down with the duck. That's right. Down with Ducky. That's right. So you guys, it's a ton of fun. I will award some Star Wars Santa merch. Maybe like one of these mugs. I've got 2 logos for my mug. So there's the one here with Santa on it. There's also the one like on my shirt, and I've got one. So it's a left-handed or a right-handed mug. Like Santa's left-handed, so I've gotten mugs before where I'm looking at the logo, but that nobody else sees it.
Yeah,
where it's like it's a right-handed mug, but so this is on both sides, right there, both sides. Yeah. So there's that, and I've got one that has both logos, one on each side. So there you go.
And you could also use it to bash over robbers' heads, like in Home Alone, if anybody ever breaks in your house, and it might save your life someday. Fanjecture is celebrating 15 months of being a follower of yours.
I will say, if you want to use it as a weapon, it is larger than the Mega Mug.
Yeah.
So it is.
Well, that's because we're fat ass Americans. We need a lot more in our.
That's true. Portion control is not something we're good at. Yes.
I know. I was
15
telling
months
I was telling Bestman, I'm like, we don't have free refills at our places anymore. He's like, we never had that. And I was like, America,
exactly.
USA.
Thanks so much. I do have a meeting that started 2 minutes ago. So, that's okay.
Get out of here.
I'm not worried about it. No, look. I'm not.
Okay.
It's not that urgent, but I do need to attend before it's over. It's not that big a deal. But thanks for hanging out with me, Jason, going through these with us. I look forward to it. And something many of you may not know, but Jason, the scooper, the leaker, the squirter himself, is terrible at predictions.
I am. You shouldn't have taken any of my advice today. Do the opposite of everything I say. That's the key. I drive my sources crazy. Like, you idiot, you are so wrong. No, so yeah, Han Solo dies, man. Okay, his son kills him. Just shut up. You are so dumb. And I'm like, thank you. So,
and then the predictions come and he goes, "No, Han's not going to die."
No, he's gonna. He falls down, but you don't see him die. You see him fall down. Prove to me. I bet you he shows up in episode 9, just totally cool. Like, hey, what's up, son? You don't need that anymore.
It's a lot of fun because Jason's so bad at it.
I'm terrible. I am.
It's amazing. Like
that's Star Wars is smarter than me. That's why I'm like, oh, what? Oh my god, the zips and the zaps! I can't believe it. All the time.
Like, I couldn't believe it because Kenobi, like, you had the entire. Everybody was doing stories on your story because it was like the accuracy in that was unquestionable.
Yeah.
Right? But did Jason win the predictions game?
Nope.
Yeah, no, he didn't. Like,
it was because it's like, does somebody say Dank Ferrick? It's like, it's getting like the whole story of that one. I just didn't have time to ask if somebody said Dank Ferrick in that one. So
hey, I've got this contest. I need to know. Like, I need to.
I love it though. I love it though that like I could think I know everything and then just be told you don't know anything, Jon Snow. You know what I mean? After you're trying to answer your questions, it's good.
Right. So, you guys, just so you know, we do have a Patreon supporters, and we like to on here to encourage folks to join on Patreon. You can join for just like $1. Like, it doesn't cost you much to join on Patreon, and then you can answer questions on there that I will read on the live stream, on the next live stream. And we do have one from our friend Astromech Jeremy. So as we get ready to close the show out, let me bring this up, and we'll read.
Can we call your patrons Patreon Johnsons? Okay, no, I tried. Sorry, I'm no Mike Porter. I tried.
You're no Mike Porter. Yeah, don't. Yeah, leave it for the professionals. No. Astromech Jeremy says, do you think in an effort to avoid being labeled as fan service that we could potentially miss out on some amazing storytelling in Andor that would just so happen to include characters that we've all loved for decades? There are kind of conflicting stories that say we're going to get lots of cameos or we're going to get 0 cameos. And of course we know that, look, the showrunner is not a Star Wars super fan. He has no interest at all in servicing fans through cameos and Easter eggs. He just doesn't care. So is it possible that through his disinterest that the show would be less than what it could be? What do you think?
I think when a story is being written, the narrative, the story wants what it wants. And with Star Wars, we oftentimes see the creatives either unaware of what the story wants unable to give the story what it wants. Like, for instance, Boba Fett, if it really wanted to be a plotting thing about him in the desert lamenting the loss of his father as a small boy, Disney wasn't going to make that. They weren't ever going to let him make that. But that might be what the story wanted. Denied. I think in this one, though, and in this genre, I think the story is gonna want what it wants, and I think that Gilroy wouldn't know how to do it any other way. I don't think he's. I think he's like a very solid writer, and I don't think he's going to deny his intuition. And I don't think some nerd at Lucasfilm is going to tell that guy what a better way to do something is, and he's going to go with it. I think he would just, like, if that was the environment, he would just walk. And I think he'd be, I'm not interested now. It's not interested in this. And so at the end of the day, like, we need to look at it as fans. We might not see R5D4 in this, but the guy that we're seeing in this, we're probably going to see in something else. These are the R5D4s of the future. That's, I think, like, so I don't think it's a missed story opportunity. I think it's actually just making it less incestuous in terms of where those cameos, where those people pop up from. That's my take, anyway.
Well, remember, too, in Rogue One, we get a name drop of Hera Syndulla, and you do get a chopper. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a fan favorite droid showing up on in the show as well. So,
and that's probably out of the purview of what Gilroy was doing. Gilroy isn't the sound designer. They're just dropping stuff in, and then he's like, he doesn't like it. It could have been Commander Dink Ferrick, and probably wouldn't have cared. Unless it was a distracting name like that kind, and the sound mix be like, what is this? No, but yeah, so like that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff is always possible, but that's not like a story opportunity. Like to get within the realm of the question is like for instance, if Boba Fett could show up in this one part and then they don't do it, it's like, yeah, Boba Fett could show up, but also this is like a whole galaxy of Boba Fett's. So we don't need Boba Fett to show up when it could literally be like, Stu, the bounty hunter from Highland or whatever the planet's going to be called. Like,
well,
that's my take.
It's like fan films. I'm not a huge fan of fan films. We do cover fan films here.
I want to. It would be so good if I could enjoy fan films and fan fiction. I just can't. I tried, though. I respect anybody who does that stuff, though. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I do too, and some of it is done amazingly well. And we cover here because my friend Magic Maker is a huge fan of fan films, and it does have a place within the fandom. It shows the health of the fandom, that people care and people invest that much time, resource, and talent into creating them. But to me, a super fan servicey show would come off more as a fan film than somebody with the kind of resume that Gilroy brings, right? So I'm looking very much forward to getting a spy thriller that isn't a fan film. It's a show for fans, and it may have Easter eggs in it, like mentioned Chopper or Hera name dropped, but it's not devoted itself into giving us these fan servicey moments. Which is a big difference, right? It's not devoted to giving you those moments. It's not also completely opposed to giving you those moments when it fits the story, but it's absolutely not going to bend the story to fit it in.
I really want to see Zeb in live action. I'm hoping that Zeb shows up in the Ahsoka series. I want to see that. But I also don't want to see Zeb walk onto the frame in this series for the most part. I don't think it would be, I think that there's like a level of eccentricities that set a tone, and it's appropriate in some stories in Star Wars and some locations and environments and stuff, and not in others. And what we're seeing in this one, everything I've seen, I'm just like, I don't need Dengar to walk into frame when I'm looking at this stuff. It doesn't seem like it would benefit it at this point.
Yeah. Now, as Leia says, Grand Moff Tarkin making an appearance in a scene because the Empire's doing something and he has some story reason to be.
I'm against
there.
it. I'm against it. I'm against it in the sense that I feel like we're starting at, as to use Gilroy's analogy, plumbers. Like there's plumbers in the Star Wars galaxy, and when a plumber does something, we don't have the Navy SEALs drop out of the sky to go after the plumber who's just done a basic blue collar crime. And so I feel like it's going to be a snowball that continues to grow. And by the time we get to Rogue One, now we got like Tarkin and Darth Vader involved. That's where this guy on this backwater planet, that's where we've gotten from A to Z. So I feel like Vader and Tarkin showing up completely like kind of takes away from the momentum of the larger narrative. But
yeah, I could see.
But I would also be like, "Oh, it's Tarkin! He's back!" if he was there. So I'm not acting above it or anything. For the record,
just a reminder for everybody who's still here: this guy is terrible at predictions.
Yeah, I'm the worst.
No,
I honestly, I thought I found the one, and we were going to be married forever. So hey, trust me.
No, but look, I agree with your sentiment. I don't want the story to bend to put Tarkin in, but if the story allows for it and it fits organically, then I think it's absolutely great. And to see
the story
the
wants
Empire, the Empire is such an imposing force, and I think that's one of the things that need to establish in this series, just as how imposing the Empire is, how much is it affecting the everyday lives of people, and making the galaxy less than what people want, right?
Yeah.
And it's not fulfilling its promise of peace and prosperity that the Empire says, hey, we're going to bring peace to the galaxy. Well, through a crushing thumb that takes away all your freedom and liberties, right? Like, gone. So in that sense, when you get maybe something coming down from the Emperor through Tarkin that somebody's observing, that could work. But this show's gonna have like planets that are barricaded and people are starving, and then there's people at dinner parties going like celebrating what they're doing over there. Like these things are going to be happening at the same time. So like it's completely possible that Tarkin's there eating, the deviled egg, going, this is great. It could completely happen, and I don't think the story wanted that, and it fit. I'd be like, okay. But I also personally do like that the stakes keep raising, and then we see more of the cosmic players coming in, like Darth Vader and Palpatine. Like I feel like the average Joe never would see them, and that's what this is. This is about them, and so that's just my preference based off of the doctrine I'm taking from what Gilroy's saying in interviews. Though he could be a complete hypocrite when I see it and go against everything he said that he's talking about. I don't think he is, but you never know. So kind of wrapping up, you're doing a show this afternoon
in 30 minutes.
Okay.
30 minutes. Come hang out, everybody.
You're doing a live watch party when it airs tonight, or
I'm gonna after it's over, I'm gonna go live. I think that's the plan. I was thinking about going before, but I decided what if it comes out early? Then that just squashes that.
Very good. Do a live reaction, not a live watch.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, Jason, I will. I've got some errands to run this afternoon. I've got things to do, but I'll try to drop into the chat during your show and be listening in. Thank you again for my friend for being here.
Same.
I love being able to hang out with you.
It's good to have you back.
I'm super excited for this series and getting back to the regular kind of schedule and frequency going on. So,
I'm glad to hear that your dad is doing as well as he is, considering what he's gone through. So
thank you.
Good news.
Yeah,
good news.
It is
on that
front.
Front.
Great news, and it's part of why I can get back to doing the normal show. Is he is one strong man who is
he is
working through this recovery. He'll be 76 years old tomorrow. So
76 years young.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, Jason, I'll let you go. Thank you again. And
Bye, everyone.
we shall see you all later. And until next time, my friends, ho, 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 Merry Christmas, and may the force be with you always. Bye-bye.
Hot dang! Talking through the news from a galaxy far away. Toys and book reviews, positivity all the way. Come and join the fun, subscribe and like away. Movie news and show reviews, it's like Christmas every day. Oh, Star Wars Santa, Star Wars Santa, the Star Wars Santa show. Oh, what fun it is to chat on the Star Wars Santa show. Oh, Star Wars Santa, Star Wars Santa, the Star Wars Santa show. Oh, what fun it is to chat on the Star Wars Santa show. Ho, 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 ho. Hot damn, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a treat tonight on the Star Wars